Hi, this is Susan Colby. I'm the Director of Faculty Development, and this is a brief video on how to create a predictable structure for a course. So the reason you would want to create a predictable course structure is that so students in your course can be more successful. The research would show that students that understand what to expect in a course and how to navigate it spend less time trying to do just that and spend more time learning the content, engaging with students, and are more successful. So let's talk about 4 different options and as examples for how you might set up a predictable course structure. The first example comes from our Agile Teaching Academy, which we offer to faculty to help them become more agile in their teaching. So our course type is an asynchronous. Usually it's for a large amount of students. We offer it over 4 weeks. Our goal is to support faculty as they redesign different elements of their course for hybrid and online, and we don't give grades. Our strategy that we actually use is prepare, post, and provide feedback. What we have our students do is spend a couple days delving into resources that make sense to them. They then post course design challenges that they're of elements that they're trying to move to online or hybrid. And then in the last 2 days of the week on Thursday and Friday, they actually provide feedback to one another in a learning team. A second example might be your seminar course, where students are expected to engage in thinking about course content in ways that is critical, reflective, where they synthesize information and evaluate information. So a possible strategy here would be to read, respond, and reflect. They might read whatever the instructor has posted. It might be some scientific articles. They might actually have to do their own research and read and come together. They might read different books and then be expected to come together to discuss those books. In the middle you see the respond. This is where they would respond to each other. It's really important that students engage with each other around the content. This helps their learning, obviously. So after they've read and prepared and then responded to each other and learned more, they then finally reflect on their own after putting all of that together. A third example might be the large lecture section. So a possible strategy in this type of course might be lecture, quiz, and apply. So students are engaged with the lecture. That could be face-to-face, or it could be that they're Zoom synchronous, or it could be that the instructor has provided a pre-recorded lecture. And hopefully students are engaging in polling or answering questions as they engage in that lecture. They might then take a short quiz. This is called low-stakes quizzing. It doesn't usually, it's not usually a good portion of their grade. It's low stakes in terms of the grade as well. And they just have to show that they've mastered the content that they were expected to master through that lecture. Last, they apply it together. And this is a very important step. It's not, students need to be able to apply content in order to be able to use it and retain it. And they may apply it through course case studies where they come together as small groups and delve into a case study. It might be a simulation activity, a debate. It might just be where they work together in a Google Doc to answer specific questions, but basically applying that course content. Last example would be your advanced problem-based course. These might be students that are in graduate programs or at least in the capstone level of their program undergraduate. And this possible strategy could be where students prepare, again, get into resources, read research, do all those kinds of activities that help set them up to know the content. Then they work in learning teams, which are highly accountable small groups that work together to actually critically think together, synthesize together, and do very applied kinds of high-level thinking. And then they might have to reflect upon what they learned in a short reflections, a one-page reflection, in a 3-2-1, or a 1-minute paper. So those are the ways they might apply. These are 4 examples. The things you need to consider when you're developing your predictable course structure is how can you accomplish your goals as a teacher, and better yet, how can you accomplish, your students can accomplish their learning goals through a predictable course structure. You might also want to be thinking about how can As You Learn be used, how can I maximize As You Learn and use the tools in As You Learn so that students can navigate my course a little bit better. So what does that look like? Here's an example of the Agile Teaching Academy. Again, our same prepare, post, and provide feedback. This is a document, a graphic, but it just explains that they'll prepare by looking at resources. They'll post their reflections and brainstorming ideas in the Flipgrid or the discussion forum, and then they'll engage with their peers in learning teams to provide feedback to one another on their design challenges. Here's a graphic from an undergraduate psychology course. You can see on Monday they do a concept check where they have to kind of explain what they've learned about the content for the week. On Tuesday they work in a reflection journal and turn that in. On Wednesday they always have a synchronous class, and this is where they apply what's been learned in the days before. Thursday they have discussions. This could be synchronous or asynchronous on discussion forum. Could also be in Flipgrid. And then on Sunday you can see the weekly assignment is due, and this is a culminating activity. Here's another example of a weekly schedule in a graduate course. Here's where students have more choice, and I know this is harder to read through this this PowerPoint presentation, but these are also available on the CAE website. But you can see on Monday they always have to complete the weekly readings, but then sometimes they'll also have a synchronous class. So you can see that the week is laid out with this idea of that there's mandatory items that students must complete, and then there's other things that may be asked of them later on. Again, this is for an advanced graduate course, but you can see the design is still here with a predictable structure. So you might be asking yourself, do I always have to have a graphic that looks this kind of sophisticated? And the answer would be no. For the Agile Teaching Academy, without the graphic, this is what the As You Learn site looks like. Again, this is a lot of information and you probably can't read it all, but the point is to see how the modules look. Through four modules throughout the full course, we have them broken down into the goals, what they would do Monday and Tuesday to prepare, what they would do on Wednesday to post for that week and what they need to think about, and then what they can do to think about how to provide feedback on Thursday and Friday. This is a similar look in our Agile Teaching Academy for each module. So as you design your own predictable structure, here's a couple resources you can use. We have a course organization teaching guide on the CAE website. And you can see a lot of information right here about how to get started. We've also linked in tools and how to use tools to help create a predictable course structure. So that's there on the CAE website. In addition, on the CAE website, we have a new technology toolbox, which you can go to this. And if you're looking for how-to videos for specific purposes, you can see we have course organization videos, community building videos, etc. So this is how to use tools for specific purposes. So this can also be quite a helpful resource. So just remember that as you create your predictable course structure in CAE, we're happy to answer any questions. So please do reach out, and good luck.